Good afternoon, evening, everybody, and Masal Khair. I do hope that you are all well and safe out there. Thank you to all of you who have joined us on this webinar, and that number is ramping up in the top corner, so lots of you joining us now. Thank you very much for joining us on this webinar. We really hope that what we'll be able to do is talk to you a little bit about school readiness for Monday, give you a bit of information about transport and understand exactly what we can tell you, at least the information we have. As we know, this has changed and will continue to change as roads continue to be cleared up. And one of the things that we are always amazed by is how quickly things can change here in Dubai. 24 hours, 48 hours can be in most countries a week or a month even. So we're seeing some massive changes hourly, and we'll continue to update you as we know. But we thought this was just a really good chance to give you some updates on some key bits of information that you may be having to ask. But also, it was a chance for us as an executive leadership team to just connect with you, to listen to any questions that you may have. And I do encourage you, the Q&A part of the webinar is open. You're more than welcome to post in, and we will do our best to answer questions. So you're more than welcome to post in questions. I would encourage you just to listen to the webinar, and then if you feel that you're not getting your answer by that last slide, which is slide 6 when you'll see me again, then please, of course, wait all the way through and then post that question at that stage, because that will really help all of us to give you the information that we have. But otherwise, you're also more than welcome to post up anything, any stories, any information, anything that you want us to know. We are here just to really listen to you as well as to talk to you tonight. So please do interact with us through the chat. We would love to hear from you, that's for sure. I hope before we begin that you are all safe and well. We've obviously seen lots and lots of information and lots of videos and photos flying all over the place, as it does during what has been a very, very difficult week for lots of us, I know, and lots of different people struggling at home, struggling with different things in their own communities and beyond. What we can do today, and what my team and I will do our best to do, is to frame to you the knowledge we have, but also the knowledge of around the school site and this localized area, which I'm standing in here today, and Mr. John is just across the way in phase 1 with me here as well. So we've been making sure we've got live information for you to tell you today about in the school and what the local area looks like. We can't necessarily tell you about every community in Dubai. You will have information, and you're more than welcome to share that with us. So as I said, there are already a bunch of questions coming in. Hopefully we'll answer most of these for you, but otherwise we have got colleagues working on the Q&A chat who will publish and answer, or answer privately if there's specific questions just for you. So as well as hoping that you're well and safe, I do think we need to take this opportunity, and I'm sure that you've seen it around your area as well. There have been during this, as with all crisis and with all challenges, there are heroes that emerge. And this wonderful team of people that you can sit here are absolute heroes in terms of what we see as a hero in our school here. We've got this team of operations. They are InfraCare, our cleaning staff, our security team, and everybody else who were here on site when the storms were coming down. So when we got 5 or 6 years worth of rain within the space of 24 hours, these staff were actually on site making sure that the damage was really limited, but also just making sure that they could respond to everything possible. And of course, because of that, many of them couldn't leave the site. So many of them spent the night here with us. And what we want to just do is just say, well done, thank you. We can't say enough good words to these colleagues. We really can't. We've been around again today with them, just really putting our arms around them and just saying thank you, because that's really what we can do. But we just need to keep saying thank you to them. They are absolute heroes. They've managed to make sure, and walking around today, honestly, it's almost like the school hasn't been hit by anything. They've really transformed it over these few days so that our school building is ready. And we'll go into that a little bit more in detail about exactly what Monday brings. We have sent you another letter, made sure that that is there for all of you. So you hopefully will be able to see some of the main details as well from this. But we really thought this was a chance just to engage with you live together, talk it through with you, perhaps see a few familiar faces in terms of the exec team here talking to you. And as I said, hopefully put you at ease a little bit about what we know and what we can tell you today and beyond, hopefully for next week. But these heroes are truly heroes for all of us, and we cannot say anything else except for thank you to all of them. They are a very, very special team of people. We always knew it, but they really are quite impressive. So thank you so much to all of them. So these are live photos that are literally about 3 hours I took. So I wanted to make sure that I could show you as much as I could around the site. And as I say, I've tried to get the entrances and the back roads and the car parking and all those different areas, as you can see around our school site. So there have been a few slight pieces of damage that we haven't been able to get sorted by Monday. So for instance, if you look in the very bottom right hand corner, you would normally see 4 shades there, and what you can see is 3. And on our mugger courts, as you move to the centre of the bottom, those usually would have beautiful big shades over them as well. Unfortunately, those were damaged during the storm, and they're going to take a little bit longer to get ready and get sorted. So those shades are really all you would notice if you walk into the school site. Those are the 2 where you would go, okay, there is something that has happened here. As I go around, and I'm working from bottom all the way round, you can then see that front car park and main entrance across to the main road, which is that big 6-lane road that's across the front of GFS. That is all open. The access from Hesse Street and from Sakim Street, I drove it today to make sure that it works all the way. And up until Motor City, at least it definitely is clear. I know that after Motor City on the Al Qudra Road, there are challenges, but up until Motor City, all the way from Jumeirah and then all the way from the Marina to Motor City on Hesse Street, those roads are clear. There are access challenges, and we'll go into a few of the details that we do know when we get to that slide, but at least around the school site, all of our roads are completely accessible. Then taking a shot in the top right hand corner there as you're looking at it, that is across, that's the Hesse Street access point just beyond one of our neighbour schools there, and you can see again that all of that has been cleared and ready. That is where the main slip road comes in to join the entrance road, the service road here for GFS. All of that is clear, all of that is ready. It does look like there's been a bit of a sandstorm because there's still sand that's been really caked into the roads, but I'm pretty certain after a few hundred cars drive on that tomorrow that you won't even see any sand there. You then come across to the middle, as I said, that's the main entrance running straight down the school, and you can see all the way through to our car park. All of that is clear, all of that is fine. And at the back, finishing off in the very top left-hand corner, there are all our STS buses, and we will get, and I noticed there are lots of questions coming in about STS buses. We will get to that, and we'll update you on the information we have. We will tell you what we know about the STS buses. And the good news is, without bearing the lead, that there is still many of them running tomorrow. In fact, the vast majority of them will be running tomorrow. But that gives you a sight all the way across the back of our school site as well, and all of the car parks and that road all the way that runs along from the Petrol Street and all the access points at Hesse Street, again all the way back to the Dubai Science Park and the Arjan area. All of that road and the car parks behind our school are completely accessible and can be accessed. So around the school site, absolutely at all, as I said, except for those few shades that you would notice. They definitely are noticeable, but they're not there. And then inside the school, I would challenge any of you to find anything that you would notice, because actually that hero team that I talked about earlier, they really are a group of heroes, and they've managed to get the school prepared and ready even as we sit here today. And we have got a night shift coming in to do the last finishing touches, but fundamentally our operations team and our cleaning team have worked to make sure the site is ready. Internally, everything is safe, everything is ready to welcome children back tomorrow. We know that's not the case for all your communities. I promise you, we're going to get to that and tell you what we're going to be able to do to help you with that. But in terms of our school road and what we're doing, we are absolutely open and ready to receive our children tomorrow. So this is something we want to make sure that you all know, that you understand. School is safe, school is ready to receive children tomorrow. I'm now going to pass over to Mr. Ian, who's our Associate Principal, who's then just going to talk to you a little bit about perhaps sharing a bit more of those hero stories and talking about that founders family and that founders community that we've built for so long now together. So Mr. Ian, over to you.
Good evening, parents, and first and foremost, let me just extend my best wishes to you, your family, your community, and wherever you are in Dubai and the UAE. And once again, really want to talk about this important movement that GEMS Education has introduced. It's perfect for a time like this where we as families, you as families, are out there to help one another. And making sure that your homes, your communities are safe, and that we are looking after one another by sharing and demonstrating that level of kindness and respect and care for one another that we expect on a day-to-day basis. There's been so many stories that has been shared, as you are absolutely aware, across social media channels around Dubai and the UAE, but we have received so many interesting stories from you as parents, from you as families, from you as communities as well. And obviously, with your permission, we would love to hear from you and share those stories and extend those warm wishes and wonderful things that you've done, like I said, to keep your community safe and well. So should you want to share your stories with us, at the very end of this presentation, we will have a dedicated email address, our communication email address, that will go to our communication manager, Miss Mary. But please also don't wait to reach out to Miss Mary and that channel. Please do reach out to your class teacher, your subject teachers, heads of year, heads of department, any of us as an SLT, if you wish to share the wonderful things that you have done, that you've seen other people in our community do over the past week to keep one another safe and well. So please do that. Like I said, the information will be shared throughout this presentation, but I just want to extend my thanks on behalf of the GEMS founders leadership team for everything that you have done for keeping your children, your families safe and well during this particularly challenging week. I'm now going to hand on to Mr. John Stapley, our whole school vice principal, and the rest of the team, who will talk about some of the finer details in preparation for this week ahead. Thank you and stay safe, everyone.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ian, and good evening, everybody. Challenges have come your way this week. I'm just going to share some information. Pickups, sorry. They'll be running as normal. As Mr. Matthew has said, the roads around school are clear, apart from sand. Certainly not. There are one or two spots that I've noticed driving into school today, certainly in between Hesse Street, in between Motor City and Arabian Ranches. That section of the kind of Unsakim Street, Alcud Road, was closed off, and with diversions heading over to Hesse Street. Consequently, then other streets will be very busy. So I would suggest that if you are travelling independently tomorrow and dropping your child off, then do please leave extra time. Now, we also understand that the roads will be busy in places that you won't expect, and so your children may be late. Of course, we will be registering them as late initially, and I'll explain what I mean by that when they come in. That's for our health and safety processes and making sure that we have an accurate record of everybody who's here on site. However, at the end of the day, we will be changing all those late marks over to just a present mark as well. So this won't be reflected on any end of year report. So STS, yes indeed, I know lots of the questions that have come in are regarding the STS routes. My understanding at the moment is that around 10% of the buses won't be running. However, that number is changing as we move through the day. There are some very handy parents who have commented on, please do check those where they've contacted the individual bus drivers, and bus drivers have confirmed, so please do check through the comments as well. But our understanding is that STS will be informing all the parents as to whether their child's bus will be operating tomorrow or not. Road networks, travelling to school, as I've already mentioned, there may be some unforeseen challenges in addition to the ones that we already know about, so please everybody do take care. Thank you everybody, and I'm now going to pass on to Miss Mandy.
Hello parents, I wish to provide the reassurance that everything is safe at GFS, and as Mr. Matthew has already explained, we are absolutely ready to welcome our students for in-school learning. Learning will be available for everyone who can come to school. Our teachers are ready, and we are fortunate that almost all of our teachers will be with us on site tomorrow. We plan to offer our timetables as usual. And in any instances where the regular teacher isn't available, the lesson will be covered by another teacher. One thing I did want to mention to you all is that if any of your child's learning resources have been damaged at home, please do reach out to us, as we are here to support with this where we can and offer replacements or see if we can support the children if they have lost any of their learning resources. If you do have any questions about our in-school provision, please post them onto the chat and I will do my best to answer your questions. But I can see that some people are asking questions about are we going to have online learning? And Mr. Patrick is going to come on next and he is going to answer the questions about our online learning. So I'm going to pass you on to Mr. Patrick, who is going to speak to you a little bit about our online provision. Thank you.
Hi, good evening, everybody. So as Miss Mandy said, we'll be offering both in-school learning for children who are able to come to school, but also a remote offering for those students who are not able to travel to school tomorrow. So it will look slightly different in the primary school compared to the secondary school. In the primary school, what will happen is all lessons and resources for all lessons will be posted by class teachers onto Seesaw as normal. There will be a morning registration call, so an MS Teams link will be sent to students through Seesaw for children at home to log on and connect with their class teacher at 8 AM. There will be a further afternoon MS Teams call available to children at home. The timing of that will be confirmed by the class teacher in the day, so please do check Seesaw. And there will be some lessons, maths and English core lessons, that will have a live element to it, and the timings of those calls for those maths and English lessons will be sent through in the morning. So if you're a primary student, really important to check Seesaw throughout the day for those really important class messages. In the secondary school, very similar, the lesson content will be posted, but on Classroom Phoenix as normal, and children will access all of the lesson content through there. Teachers will be responding to that and giving feedback when they are available in the day. The challenge with that is that the teachers we have on site will also be teaching lessons in classroom. So when they are available, they will be responding to the work that children upload. There will be 2 live check-ins for students at home to access with their tutor. The first one will be at 7:20, which is the normal form time, and the second one will be at 10:10. So tutors, like they were last week, will be uploading an MS Teams link to the chatter function on Phoenix Classroom, and that's an opportunity for a student just to check in with their class teacher, their form teacher, and you know, talk about any challenges they've got or any issues they have, or obviously to share successes as well. I want to mention exams because we've got some mock exams planned for tomorrow and some other exams going on as well. The Year 10 mocks that were planned for last week, obviously we've got a revised schedule. They will be going ahead from tomorrow, according to the revised schedule. However, children that are not in school and obviously not able to access those mock exams will be offered a catch-up session in order to complete that mock exam when they return to school. And that would be the same for any in-class exams going on in Year 12 or 13. They will go ahead as normal tomorrow, but if a child is not able to access that because they're not in school, they will be offered a chance to catch that up when they return to school. We also have some GL testing planned for next week. In primary, I know that some of the GL testing will be pushed back to Wednesday. Again, they will go ahead as normal, but if children cannot access because they're not in school, they will be offered a chance to catch up when they return to school. I'm now going to pass to Miss Catherine, who will talk to you about ECAs and trips.
Good evening, parents. I hope you're well. So just to give you an update on some of the events, trips and activities that are happening next week. So any sports teams after school, they will continue as normal. All of our facilities are fine for those to continue. The internal GFS ECAs, which are starting on Thursday, are planning to go ahead as normal, and we see no issues with that. But do be reminded that that's a parent pickup. So if you're relying on buses and that's an issue for you in terms of your community, I would advise you to not put your children in ECAs on Thursday if there's access issues. The ESM paid activities are continuing as normal throughout the week. If there are any changes to that, ESM themselves will contact you directly and tell you about the plans for changes. In terms of trips and events, the Year 5 Warner Brothers World Trip, which was planned to go ahead last week, is now going ahead next week, starting the 29th of April. We were planning to reschedule it for the coming week, but after doing the parent survey, we've decided that to give the most children an opportunity to go as possible, we're going to start that trip next week from the 29th of April. So those days are the Tuesday, the Wednesday and the Thursday. If your child was planning to go on the Tuesday this week, they'll go on the Tuesday next week, Wednesday this week, Wednesday next week. So that's just to ensure as many children can attend that visit as possible. The Whiz Computing Fair is postponed, and we're waiting for the organisers of that to let us know when the new date for that will be. And the Islamic competition at Cambridge International School is also postponed. As soon as we know the new dates for those, our trips team will contact you directly and let you know when and where those are. The Future We Want Model United Nations competition, which is due towards the end of this week, is still planned at the moment at the Millennium Hotel in Dubai. However, if the organisers contact us tomorrow, we'll update parents that affects directly. And then the UKMT, which is the United Kingdom Mathematics Championships, those are happening in school, so they're planned to continue as normal, and if there's any changes, we'll let you know. Finally, the Year 13 Leavers ceremony, which was due to happen last Friday, is planning to happen this Friday, but I know you've already had communication about that already. I just wanted to ensure that everybody was on the same page with that. So that's pretty much a summary of the trips and events for the following week. I'm just going to pass back to Mr. Matthew now.
Thank you very much, everybody. And I do hope that that gave you a vast majority of the answers that had already been coming in. And thank you all of you who've been posting in the Q&A and asking us questions. A lot of the Q&As that have been coming in were very specific about your child in Year 5 in that class going to that visit. So we've, of course, just replied to that privately. That wasn't one that needed to be published. But what we've tried to do is publish for you all of the big questions that were asked. So please do go through the chat. There's not many. We've only published 22. We've tried to keep them all as the main ones. But if you just please go through, you will be able to hopefully see all of the answers to you that you were requiring. There are still some questions that remain unanswered and will be addressed at this point. We are going to go through that. So if there are still some questions that remain unanswered, but we do hope that you've got lots of them already, then we have obviously, as always, the normal lines of communication. So please make sure that you do contact the wonderful Miss Monia. She is going to be available for any of the general inquiries. Please read the letter that we posted out to you on GEMS Connect about an hour ago, so that you've got all of the information that you need in that as well. It really is a summary of a lot of what we've said. There's always more, but we've tried our best just to give you a summary of all the key points so that you've got that in one letter. You can refer back to that. And obviously that's really important if you do that, rather than just email Miss Monia, who I'm sure will get hundreds of emails. But please refer to the letter first, and then email if it really hasn't answered your question. Of course, there are going to be, and there always are, important pieces of information when it comes to STS and bus transportation. Again, in the letter, we have already put that information for you for STS. So refer to the letter rather than ask us on the chat on the question about bus 85 or bus 76. We've directed you towards the service delivery executive, the person who works here at GEMS Founders School with all of the buses, has all of the answers for every route, every single place, and that person we've provided in the letter. So you're more than welcome to contact that person through reading the letter and just emailing them. They will do their very best to get back to you. We have answered a number of times a few of the questions that are now even popping up as I'm speaking. So I'm just going to say one more time, before you press send on the Q&A, could you please just go to the published Q&A, which you can see, and just check the answer isn't there, because there's now questions coming in about mock exams. We've already answered that 5 times in the published Q&A. There are answers, questions that's just popped in about the photo shoot. We've answered that one already in there, and there is a question coming in about STS as I'm talking about STS. So please do refer to the letter. It's really important that you look at that information before you then post a comment in the chat or even email any of us. It's there, it's available for you, and we really do hope you focus in on the letter and the information we provided before reaching out for any more questions. We really do hope that. We've also talked about the Warner Brothers trip, so that's there. We've also talked about all of the different trips that are happening. We have recorded this session, and considering the repetition of some questions, and maybe that's because you're joining late, we'll make sure that this recording gets available to you all so that you can then go back and watch it again, and you can see all of the questions and answers that hopefully we have already provided. If you need any technical support, so if you are at home and there are challenges and there are things that you need support in, usually it's forgotten passwords and simple stuff like that. But still, if it is, please do get support from Miss Caroline. She will make sure that the team are all engaged and checking these things, make sure that everybody can get online and they can access homeschooling. This will not affect your attendance. We have said this now a couple of times. Please understand, we understand what you're going through, and the last thing we want to do is mark you down as absent. We want to mark you down as being here. Just make sure that if you're online and you're actually engaged in learning, and then we can obviously mark that online attendance as well. Lastly, Mr. Ian talked about our family first and how important all of that is, but also we are very conscious of our student well-being and how all of our children are feeling at the moment. So we really want to make sure that all of you are okay, or all the children are okay. We understand they might be going through all sorts of things at the moment. So we've got the communication email address there, which is to share any stories that you would like to share with us. We had an absolutely wonderful one shared by one of our parents on Friday, with a small video that was taken of them out in the streets, literally waist deep in water, saving other people, bringing them in, making sure that other people were safe out there. So there are some wonderful stories of our families and communities helping each other. It'd be really lovely if you could make sure you share those with us on the communication_GFS. And also, as I said, the student wellbeing, the welfare one is there. We've got lots and lots of trained mental health first aiders now in our school. It's something that we've taken incredibly seriously. We know children all need support. So it isn't just our counsellors, of course they are there, but we absolutely want to make sure that you've got access to a mental health first aider as well. And we've got really tons of them trained and ready to go. So please email welfare_GFS. Encourage your children to also use the Upstrive app and talk to us through there. We are monitoring all of that and making sure we can respond and react where humanly possible to support them with that as well. So thank you very much for joining us today. As I said, we will put this one up for everybody as well. You can watch it again because there's a couple of published questions like STS and photo shoots, and I'm really not sure I can answer that one anymore. So please repeat if you need to, go back and have a little watch of this. It's another half an hour of your time, but it really has already been answered, I promise you, multiple times. So even if you just watch the first 10 minutes, you'll be able to hear me answer most of those questions already. If you scan through the published comments, you'll also see quite a lot of the answers to those questions that you're asking now. So I would just like to finish off the way we started. A huge thank you to all of you. We know that it has not been easy. We know that it's been challenging out there for people, and we really do understand that so many of you are still stuck in places that are in really difficult situations. We've seen the videos and photos of communities. We know that the photos that I've shown you of around our school site is not the same situation you are going through right now in your home. So we do understand that. And just to then repeat, that's why we have made sure that the remote or online learning option is still available for you. Now, we are going to continue to get guidance from the KHDA, our authorities, as you would imagine, so we can only update you on that each day. So we can only say tomorrow it is going to be still available, the remote learning. We will then update you at the end of tomorrow about whether that's Tuesday, Wednesday. You get the idea, I hope. And that's because we do need to seek authority approval for this. This isn't something that we just sit here and decide, yes, we will continue remote online options. We do have to have authority approval on this, and until they publish that approval, we can't tell you. We know, because they published it on Twitter or on X now, that we have it for tomorrow. So we definitely have it for tomorrow for you, and we will update you tomorrow about Tuesday to make sure that anybody who is still stuck in a community they can't access the school, we'll do our very best to get authority approval to continue that. We know that you, as well as we, want you all back in school. So we know that that's what everybody wants. We want you all back here, and that is certainly our aim and intention, and why we've made sure the school is absolutely ready for you all to come back as soon as you can get out of your own communities and the challenges that you're facing. So then I'd just like to finish. The last thing is just to say, please look after yourselves. Please look after each other. Reach out to people around you. I'm sure you're doing this already, but if you aren't, or if you haven't had the chance to yet because you've been dealing with your own challenges, please do reach out. Lots and lots and lots of people are out there who need support, who need help. There really are lots of challenging situations going on, and it's really important that we just get together, look after each other, and make sure that we get through this, the other side. And hopefully what we'll all have is lots of nice stories to tell each other about how we got through this of 5-6 years worth of road in 24 hours. But we got to the other side and we feel happier because we've all worked together and looked after each other. So I hope that I see you all very soon. I hope that we've done our very best to answer as many questions as possible. And I really do appreciate so many of you now just putting in lots of thank yous and lots of gratitude just for the fact that we're here talking to you as well. So really do appreciate that. Please do feel free to pass on thanks and gratitude. That's always well received, I promise you. Other than that, we hope to see many of you tomorrow. If you're not able to join us tomorrow, aim to be here Tuesday and keep going each day until you get back to us and everything hopefully reaches a normal situation. We will see you all soon. Take care of each other, take care of yourselves, and stay safe out there, everybody. Thank you very much.